Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Katie and as you can guess by the title, this video is going to be a story time about multiple stories of me working at a haunted hotel for 3 years. So let's get into the stories. And before I do that, I just want to give you an idea of the hotel and a little backstory. This hotel was built in 1985 and was opened a year later. This hotel has 242 rooms, one big suite and two junior suites. This hotel has also 15 conference rooms, 2 restaurants, 1 hotel bar, and it also has a sauna and fitness area. What I think adds to the spookiness of the hotel is that the design is original and it is in the design of like the late 80s and 90s. So it has like those carpets, those like creepy carpets. So overall it is not a very like modern hotel. So like I said, I worked there for 3 years from 2017 till 2020. Why was I there? I did an apprenticeship to become a hotel specialist, which means this is a person who just knows everything about the hotel. My apprenticeship, I had to work in every department of the hotel. So that means like reception, even housekeeping, hotel bar, restaurant, in the office, so like marketing, sales, and all of that stuff. And I'm finished with my apprenticeship and I no longer work there. And in this hotel we would have like business people, also big tourist groups, and also people that would come to visit the fairs that we would have throughout the year. So let's maybe start with the first story. And this story happened in like the first month of me working there. Like I said, I worked in every department of the hotel, and in the first 2 months I was working in the housekeeping department. And on that day it was a evening shift that I had alone. And I was downstairs in the basement folding hand towels for like the next day. It was dark. It was about like 8 or 9 p.m. and I had the radio on and I was actually like chilling and doing the work, and then this happened. So I was folding my towels and then suddenly there was like this weird feeling that I got, this paranoia. I was like very scared. I had this like weird energy that I felt. Yeah, I got this very weird feeling suddenly. And yes, I'm a person who feels energies. And in that moment, I don't know why, but I had to look to the washing machines that were there. I don't know why, but I just turned my head to the washing machines. And what did I saw in that moment? Like, no one ever believed me that, but I saw like a dark shadow disappearing behind the washing machine. I did not really realize what just had happened. I was like, okay, I just like saw a shadow or something. And then I kind of look back. I look back again to the washing machines. And what has happened? What did happen? So both washing machines just like went off. I kind of stood just there and I don't know. Like for a second, I did not know what to do or what I just have seen, I did not really realize. I just tried to stay as calm as possible because my mind has not really like processed that yet, that oh, I just maybe saw a shadow and it maybe has messed with the electricity or whatever. There was a phone like in the basement to just like call every department. I called the reception because I was new, I did not know what to do, okay? So like I was like, okay, let's call a reception. I told a lady at the reception and then she told me that she would come downstairs and like look. She was there downstairs, and then there was this electricity thing also down in the basement, and then she looked, and then she told me, the power is on. Like, there is nothing wrong with the power. Like she said, there is no problem with the washing machines because it says like the power is there, but we could not turn the washing machines on. They would not work. So she was also confused, and I was even more confused. But I didn't really tell her, oh, I saw a shadow, because I don't know, like the people where I live don't really believe in that. I kept that to myself. The next day rolls around, and we apprentices, like there were lots of apprentices. We were like 30 different apprentices or even more. There was year 1, year 2 and year 3, and we all had a group chat on WhatsApp. I don't know why, but I like jokingly typed into the group chat, and do the washing machines work today? Another girl that was also working at housekeeping at that moment, she said, yes, the washing machines work. And then she texted, why? What's wrong? I replied back that on my shift the washing machines like turned off suddenly, and then a boy from a year above me, he texted that, oh, it might be the ghost. The ghost? What ghost? I did not even mention that I saw a shadow or something, and he just like said, oh, it might be the ghost. And I was even more interested to know that story, and I was like, oh, like tell me more, tell me about the story. And he was like, no, like I think he said like I would rather not. The year above me and like all the people that worked there for a longer period of time, I just know that they knew about those stories, but they would never tell us. Maybe I should mention where I always felt weird energy in the hotel, like what spots were like cold, and there was like I was getting this terrified energy. And the spots in the hotel were the sauna, especially like actually the whole basement, but especially like the sauna area, the 7th floor, sometimes the 3rd or the 4th floor, but more the 4th, and the back of the restaurant, like those 2 tables at the back of the restaurants. Like this area would give me weird vibes. I would never place guests there, because then that meant that I had to walk there. These were spots and areas in the hotel where I would feel weird energy, you know, there's like, oh, it's like haunted. And guess what? These spots are haunted. Like I know for sure that like the 7th floor and the 4th floor and like downstairs in the sauna, it is haunted. And I won't be talking about the stories, like what happened there, you know, I will just like talk about experiences and stories that I have experienced. Back then, when I was working there, I did not know like that it was actually like haunted or accurate, that I was accurate with what I felt. But like in the 3rd year, when I was almost finished with my apprenticeship, my favorite working colleague, she like told me that these spots are in fact haunted, and I did not tell her that I felt this weird energy there. She like told me because she was talking to another person that was working there for a longer time. She told me, oh, did you know like this is haunted, this spot, and blah blah blah. And I was like, girl, listen, I always felt weird energies there. And she was like, same, like she always felt terrified in these spots. Let's go to the next stories. Also, in the 1st year, when you would work in a housekeeping, you had to prepare the sauna. Like you had to place like towels there, you had to turn on the sauna, you know, to just prepare it. And I somehow did not like doing that because I always felt so terrified while doing that. I always felt like so scared and paranoid, and you know what I did? I just like did everything but really fast. Like I would throw the towels there, I would just like run around really fast, I would look around like that, I would turn on all the saunas and just like leave. And like I said, my favorite working colleague, she told me she always felt the same, like she would always like run and do everything fast and then just leave. So like I said, I felt like the fourth floor is weird. Like in general, like I hated going up to the rooms. I don't know if it just was because the halls looked creepy, corridors looked creepy, like, you know, long and like this weird carpet and dark. I just did not like it. I always would walk like fast and like look around and behind me. And yeah, and one day they sent me up to check all the safes in the hotel. That was in 2020 and we had to close the hotel because this Rona stuff. So yeah, there was like no one. So I would just like go into every room. I would like open the door. I would like look into the bathroom because it was like right there when you would walk into the room. I would like close the door from the bathroom, turn on all the lights and just like open the shelf because that was where the safe was, and check everything fast and then just like slam the door and like run. And if someone would see me like that, they would think I'm like crazy. I just wanted to finally be finished with this so I can return back to the reception and just like breathe. I have another very interesting story. So I think this story happened when I was in the second year. On that day, I was actually working in the banquet department, but on that day I had to help the housekeeping department. We were on the 7th floor. Also, back then I did not know that this floor was haunted, but like I said, I'm a person who feels energy. So me and the housekeeping lady, we were there together. I was like, okay, I feel kind of safe with her, but at the same time I feel like scared. Yeah, we were doing like the rooms and then we were finished with this floor. And this floor is only like, has probably like 15 rooms. Like it is just like this long floor. We were finished. We were going to the 6th floor downstairs. And what did I notice? On that day, I had a ring on. And what do I notice? That, oh, I have lost my ring. I just have somehow lost my ring. Obviously, when you're doing like beds and stuff, why do I wear a ring? I don't know. Kind of stupid for me, but I told her, I was like, oh, I lost my ring. Like, let me look on the 7th floor because I was somehow sure I left it there. I take the key card to open the doors and I go back to the 7th floor with the elevator. I just stand there. And I just like somehow intuitively knew that the ring was in this particular room. I open the door, I go into this room, I look around, and what do I see? I see my ring perfectly placed on the pillow, as if someone has put it there. There is no chance that this ring just fell off my finger and was like perfectly placed there. Yeah, I take my ring and I leave. Now to this story, I have another very interesting story and you will look at me like, what? Me and my favorite colleague, again. The first story with the ring was like in 2017 or 18, right? And this story was in 2020. The hotel was empty because we had to close it down, but all the trainees and like other people working there were there. They sent us on that day. We were like probably like 8 people on that day there. And we just did some things, I don't know, like replacing something in the rooms, you know, trainee work. We had to go like through every floor, but we started from the 7th floor. Her and me, we were there doing our things, placing, I don't know what it's called, in the bathrooms. We were again finished with that floor. We go downstairs to the 6th floor. Well, does that story not sound familiar to the last one? We are on the 6th floor, and then she says, oh, like, where's my phone? Like, she has lost her phone? Like, she couldn't find her phone anymore. And she was like, oh, I have maybe left it on the 7th floor. We go there, and I wait there, like, in front of the room. She was, like, in there, like, looking for her phone. She comes out of the room and is like, oh, I got my phone. And then I ask, where was it? And she was like, laying there on the table. And she was also like, oh, I can't remember putting my phone there. Yeah, because we were not there. To add to like the creepiness of the story, it was the exact room where I have lost my ring 2 years ago. So now I have 2 stories, not from me personally, but from other trainees that work there. They had an evening shift. On this day it was like a banquet, you know, it was like a wedding or a birthday party. So these 2 girls, what they did, they had to bring like the tablecloths to where they belonged. And where was that? Yeah, in the basement. They were together, and with this thing here, like where the tablecloths were, and they would walk through like the corridor in the basement, and then suddenly the lights turned off, and in that moment this thing like turned to the other side, you know, it just like flipped. You're thinking like, what the F, you know, like this is not possible. And yes, when she told me that story, I was like, I was not believing it, kind of like that is actually not possible. I'm not a physics person, but I don't think that is possible, right? She told me this thing just like flipped over in that moment where the lights turned off, and then obviously they started to scream. This story was at the restaurant. We have like 2 separate basements. One basement of the actual hotel and one basement of the restaurant. If you want to go to the restaurant, you had to like walk across the entrance of the hotel to like opposite. It was like 3 meters, okay, maybe 5. But above above it was like connected. One colleague, she would tell me that one time when she had her shift alone, and while she was closing everything down in the restaurant, closing all the doors, turning off the lights, there was this staircase down to the basement. As she was like closing everything, she kind of heard weird sounds, and also like footsteps, as if someone was walking downstairs. And I can confirm that story because when I worked my shift at the restaurant alone and I closed everything down, I always heard weird sounds downstairs. So I was like, okay, I'm leaving. The next story is also from a working colleague, but also kind of from me, and it is also about the basement downstairs where the restaurant is. One working colleague, she would never go to the bathrooms that are downstairs. You could access them from the restaurant itself, like it was for the guests. They would have to go down the staircase, and we as staff, we could also access that bathroom from like the staff staircase, but it would all lead to the same bathroom and to the same basement. She would never go to the bathroom there because she was scared. I also hated going there, but you know what do I have to do? Should I go like across the other bathroom that is at the hotel and leave the guests alone? Yes, I still went to the bathroom, but like also very, very fast. I was like very brave. Also, there was like weird noises always, and there were mirrors. Like, there were mirrors. I have pictures here from me being there. So there were mirrors like opposite to each other. I don't know, like in esoteric things, I don't think you should do that because it like creates portals. And also there were lots of mirrors around, like on the walls. There was also a seminar room, like a room, you know, also like weddings and stuff, and that room was literally called the mirror room. No, I just googled. It is called the mirror hall. Everything was with mirrors, and the restaurant, everything was out of wood, and the lights were very dim. I kid you not, there was always like this weird sound of like ooh. Like, I don't know, you would like laugh, but this is what you actually heard. Okay, maybe it's worth telling this story because it's interesting as well. That was at the breakfast department thing, and when the guests would be finished with breakfast and we would prepare everything for the next day, we have a container where we would only fill 3 liters of milk in it, which means 3 packages of milk and nothing more, or else we would get yelled at. We would always fill 3 liters of milk in there because we knew we were not allowed to put in more milk. So, and then this person, like this lady, would always like check if we have done everything right and stuff. And that was mostly like after the break. That was like mostly hours later. And you know what? It was like always this talk about that. There is more than 3 liters of milk in the container. And that, like, she would yell at us that she has told us that we should only put in 3 liters of milk. And that's what we did. But somehow there was always like more, and she jokingly always said, oh, it probably was the ghost. Again, the ghost. So we would get into trouble for the things we have not done. And I just think it was like the ghost playing with us. I don't work there anymore, and I'm kind of glad because I want to work somewhere where the energy feels good. Also, I would sometimes like see shadows. You know, I would just like work, and then like from this side I would like see shadows. But I was like, oh, okay, like very respectful, you know? And I worked from like every hour that exists in the clock at this hotel. I would have like every shift. Would I say there was like a specific time where I just felt weird? Yeah, if I'm honest, it was more in the evening. I would not so much feel it at like 7 a.m. or something. It's like they say like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. is like the active hour. And yeah, maybe I should mention, like, as I was working there, the 3 years that I worked there, I sometimes had very weird nightmares of me and the people that worked there and in the hotel. Like, I would have weird nightmares of the hotel, like very disturbing. So, the fuck? Okay, nothing. It's just my bag there. I'm pretty sure there are more stories, but I just cannot remember. So yeah, that was my video. I hope you enjoyed it. It's perfect for Halloween. I wanted to film that, so I did. And now I'm going for a walk. And thank you so much for watching.